Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.
Entrepreneurship has played a big role in the development of Kenya's economy. However, many of these business ideas fail to see the light of day due to challenges such as financing or relevant support. This week on Business Focus, we look at the contribution of incubation centers such as NILAB in the contribution to the development of entrepreneurship in this country. We will also bring you stories of entrepreneurs who are taking advantage of opportunities in the emerging education sector. We are glad you could join us on this week's episode of Business Focus. My name is Bonitunya, but first, let's take a look at the highlights. We bring you a story of NILAB and tell you how this center turns ideas into businesses. Also in this show, we'll tell you how an entrepreneur is utilizing the emerging opportunities in the education sector. As always, we welcome your feedback about the show on our Facebook page and Twitter handles displayed on your screen right now. Better yet, you can write me an email, that is bf@standardmedia.co.ke. That's bf@standardmedia.co.ke. Business Beyond Limits tonight puts a highlight on the NILAB Center, an incubation center situated right here in Nairobi. Now we will tell you how this center strives to develop business ideas into actual businesses.
According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, unemployment rate in Kenya increased to 40% in the year 2011 from 12.70% in the year 2006. Statistics also indicate a massive increase in the numbers of graduates released by universities and other tertiary institutions every year. This has further put a strain on the already congested job market, making it necessary for stakeholders to come up with better alternative ways to increase job opportunities. Over time, entrepreneurship has proved to be a perfect alternative to formal employment and has provided thousands of people with the honest ways to earn a living. But to turn an idea into a viable business, an entrepreneur needs capital. This is one single factor that has seen thousands of ideas go down the drain. However, the past few years have seen the emergence of business incubation centers whose role is to provide technical and financial services to young entrepreneurs. Through these centers, several ideas have been turned into businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to build themselves economically and also empower others through employment. NILAB is a business incubation center situated here in Nairobi. It is itself a unique business idea, helping other business ideas to grow.
NILAB was a meeting of the minds. Tony Ndongo, who's a good friend of mine, wanted to create a place where people could come and talk and discuss issues and try to solve problems. And that was with our friend Bart Lacroix from Holland. And I wanted a place where I could actually help businesses because I'd already been doing this for 2 years on radio. So we met, we sat down, we talked, and we decided to design a place where businesses could be accelerated. Over and above just talking business, we discuss issues affecting your social lives, issues affecting the country, political, economical, social. So there's a lot of discussions that we were planning to have in the space.
We prioritize on growing tech entrepreneurs. So ideally what we do is we take on young entrepreneurs, young startups that are in the technology arena, and we show them how to grow their ideas or prototypes into full-fledged commercial vehicles.
The center targets entrepreneurs with business ideas and are interested in starting their own companies. NILAB takes 20 to 30 startups every year to be incubated in this physical space.
Every 6 months you can go online and apply to join incubation. Our team will look at your application, they will see whether you have a good idea, they'll see whether you have the necessary skills, they'll see whether you have the necessary passion from your application, and from there they'll make a decision. They'll shortlist you and you can come for an actual interview. So it's like a job for you to start building your own business. And then you join the space. You're given a desk. You have mentors from every business angle. You have somebody talking to you about product development. And the person talking to you about product development is very skilled in building products. So look at your product and see how else can you build that product, how can you make it better. We'll have people from PR and marketing. We'll have people from administrative issues. Just look at how you're supposed to set up a company, including helping you meet a lawyer, helping you look at the IP issue and all of that and set up. And of course, now there's the coaches and mentors who will come and try help you think like an entrepreneur.
But for entrepreneurs to earn a place in NILAB, their ideas should meet a certain threshold. Therefore, it is necessary for them to do proper market research that validates a need for a solution.
That idea must be solving a practical problem, not an imaginary problem, which basically means you know about the problem, and so the idea is supposed to solve that problem. You must prove to us that you already know what are the existing solutions to that problem and why they are not working, and what makes yours different from the ones that are not working. You must show us that you have the skills necessary to do this. Basically, we're saying if it's, say, for example, it's a high-tech web solution or SMS solution, we're saying show us that you can actually develop a web SMS. If it's not web-based, internet-based, show us that you have the necessary skills to drive that.
Entrepreneurs who get admission will be taken through an exciting period of incubation. Their ideas will be fine-tuned through interaction with relevant experts. Entrepreneurs themselves are taken through mentorship sessions.
The most amazing thing is that you don't just mentor on business, you mentor on personal life as well. You cannot stop at business because young people, 23, 24, 25-year-old, they're dating, they're going to get into problems, and some of the things that happen around their family will kill the business. So you actually have to make sure the person has a really good life-work balance. I'd have to say mentoring is a range of things. We will talk about, and sometimes co-founders fight a lot. Two people want to start a business together. It takes about 3 to 6 months before they start having fights, especially if the business is getting very successful. Happens that one person feels they're doing more than the other person, or one person feels disrespected by the other person, and so suddenly there's a big conflict. And before long, most of the time, they tend to break up. And that process can be very, very painful. That could kill the business as well. So mentorship will take care of personal life, will take care of business life. We'll have conversations about things that affect you and how you can do them better, time management issues. What are you reading in terms of what kind of knowledge are you seeking for right now? What kind of training are you going for in school? And this has to come from the entrepreneur.
NILAB has been in operation for 3 years now. The center has incubated more than 20 startups, a figure that translates to more than 60 individual entrepreneurs. Most of these startups have developed into businesses that are helping solve problems as well as provide entrepreneurs with financial fulfillment.
Companies like Eneza has hired like 15 people right now. You go for Gafla has over 10 people. You go to Weza Tele is doing almost 8 people. Ucall is actually serving almost 6,000 guards with the software they built. So not only we have created jobs, as you can see, 2 years, 100 jobs. It's a big achievement for us. In the next 3 years, we are hoping to actually do a lot more than that. But at the same time, solutions have been built at the NILAB that are serving people. You know that some security companies are using solutions that have been built here for monitoring their security guards. Wazatele, my order is actually being used for ordering food and services for different companies here, and they just partnered with IBM recently. MPrep hit 100,000 users this week. 100,000 students are using MPrep services. It's now called Eneza, to actually do homework on their cell phone. Okay, by sending a question to the Eneza database, and the Eneza database sends them a question and they provide an answer, and so they're able to test themselves and engage themselves against 100,000 students across the country, with almost 10–15% coming from Dadaab refugee camp on our border of Somalia and Kenya. So it's a very, that's big impact in 2 years.
NILAB invests up to $10,000 to incubate one startup business. It works with an equity model where NILAB takes 10% stake for every company that incubates in this space. This 10% stake will enable NILAB to voice its contribution in leading the company through the growth curve.
We make sure that the founders of the company retain 90%. Of course, it gives them more rights to even negotiate with investors in our absence, and more rights to run their own company. But they can be sure in the first 3 to 12 months now, especially if they're successful, they will at least have a temporary board set up for them, a temporary administration and temporary resources that they can actually help them until that particular point.
Its proprietor agrees that Kenya has indeed a great potential. However, he has a different view on the current education curricula.
We should update our syllabuses and our curriculums and just see exactly what is the marketplace asking for and what are we training them for. So that will make us as incubators and labs and hubs very successful, because we will not be going back to doing the work that the university was supposed to do, especially business courses, teaching them how to write a business plan, teaching them how to do their market research, teaching them how to do a SWOT analysis. We don't want to do that. We want them to come with that skill already. And what you're going to tell them is that that gap you're trying to fill in the market, it's there, it's there, it's there. These are your niches. Work here, work here, work here. You can meet these following corporate heads, and you can meet the following people and understand the problems better, so that you can develop the solution much better.
Business incubators like NILAB have demonstrated how potential this country can be. If we grow entrepreneurship, joblessness might as well be a thing of the past.
On the Emerging Enterprises, we focus on a lady entrepreneur who has turned a business idea into an opportunity that is imparting social and practical skills to young children. That and much more coming up after the break, so don't go too far.
KCB Group has created an enabling environment for entrepreneurs in the education sector to establish and sustain education institutions in the country. Quality education remains a vital pillar in the realization of not only Millennium Goals, but also national development goals. It is estimated that Kenya's primary school enrollment rate is 86% for both boys and girls. Meet Jean Gashehe Kimani, Director and Proprietor of Custom Mill Kindergarten and Schools located along Thika Road in Nairobi. She has been able to set up a school that caters for children from early learning to upper primary education. This was made possible through KCB's facilitation, and the school has made great strides since inception.
I thought about the little ones, the 2.5s, going to kindergarten. And I decided of opening a kindergarten and give them quality foundation. Quality means that they'll have everything. Good teachers who are trained as kindergarten teachers. And I also thought about giving them good food, quality food. I thought about transporting them to where they live.
KCB Financial Solutions continue to cushion customers while doing business by helping startups gain ground and flourish in the face of challenging financial times. Custom Mill School is an example of an institution that has developed over the years to give education solutions to many families along Thika Road and adjacent neighborhoods.
I started banking with KCB. Actually, immediately I opened the kindergarten, and I've been able to get loans. Mostly, KCB has helped me in getting a loan to buy my second bus. I worked with them. I have now cleared paying the loan because I focused in paying the loan, and I knew that whatever I get, if I put this money in the bus, I'm going to finish the loan within 5 years. So I have cleared the loan, and I love KCB. It's a good bank, and they work with you. The rates are also good. So I was able to do the mathematics, and I got there.
KCB recently launched M-Banki, a new product that allows customers to create an account via the mobile banking platform. KCB has a presence in the 5 East African regions, including South Sudan.
The world is dynamic, and so many conventional beliefs and methods of doing things are constantly being reversed. For instance, mothers have turned to formal employment and business, unlike the past when they were considered as housekeepers. Due to this phenomenon, certain gaps have been created in homes. Subsequently, business opportunities have emerged. Here in Nairobi, we come across a lady entrepreneur who is taking advantage of the rising business opportunities. Rose Joy Musimi is a preschool trained teacher. She has always wanted to own a school, and recently she resigned from her formal employment to pursue her dream.
Unfortunately, especially preschools, most of them are started by people who really don't know the business of dealing with children. So because I am a trained teacher, I saw that most schools were handling children the wrong way, giving undue pressure to little ones simply because it's a business venture. So it's always been my heart to want to have my own school and run it differently, cater for the whole child, not just the intellectual bit, cater for their physical growth, their spiritual growth, their social growth also. So it has always been my dream to have my own school.
With the little resources she and her husband had accumulated, Taji School was born. Initially, this school started as a daycare with a vision to help working mothers by easing their burden of taking care of their children. Though the school started with a single child, it has since grown to incorporate daycare and kindergarten.
Taji School is a kindergarten, a Christian kindergarten. We cater for children from as early as 1 year all the way up to 6 years. Yes, because we have what we call play group, which basically involves 1 year to 3, anybody who's below 3 years, that's play group. Then we have KG1, KG2 and KG3. KG1 is the equivalent of baby class. Those are 3-year-olds, 3 to 4-year-olds. Then KG2 is nursery, 4 to 5-year-olds. KG3 is pre-unit, 5 to 6-year-olds.
The school is built on Christian principles and thus helps develop good character in children to supplement the literacy knowledge. This education model has helped Rose Joy progress in her business journey.
Apart from the basic literacy and numeracy that you will get in most other schools, we teach basic life skills, especially to the children who are between 1 to 3 years. Because they come green, yeah, we have to teach them basic skills like learning how to speak, knowing how to express themselves properly, learning to brush their teeth, going to the toilet, because we also teach potty training or toilet training, basic skills like using a handkerchief, which they do not have, and then other social skills that children, especially children who are born alone, do not have, like learning to share. So we intentionally do not have toys to cater for all the children. We have to learn to share, which is a really difficult thing for children.
Good for class.
Dealing with children is a tasking affair and obviously require more than an urge for business. So what is it that enabled this lady entrepreneur run this business so well?
I have a passion that drives me. I'm very passionate about children. I believe if we impact them positively when they are young, they grow up positively. If you impact them negatively, that's just the way they're going to grow. So for me, passion #1 is very, very key. And I have a bit of perfectionist tendencies. I like seeing them forming their letters properly. I like seeing them doing things properly. Yeah, not just because we assume that they're children that they cannot be taught to do things well with excellence. So that for me, I know makes a difference.
Business journeys are always full of hurdles, but for successful entrepreneurs, challenges help build an enterprise and thus success. Rose Joy too has had a share of challenges.
My husband and I, we ran this together. He's still employed. I had to quit. I had to leave my official job. And for us, of course, financial constraint was always #1, that you want to do things in a certain way, but because you're limited financially, I guess you don't see yourself achieving as much as you would want to. The other thing is, because it's a service industry, you're dealing with people, dealing with parents who have young children, and these young parents with their young children are usually very particular, so you cannot meet everybody's needs. You try to do your best. Then the other thing is, I have noticed that most parents who are bringing up young children are also limited. They don't know what to expect out of schools. So no wonder most of them are really downplayed by schools. You don't know what to expect. You just take your child to school, leave them there. And that for me is a bit of a challenge, because I want to also empower parents to know what it is that they should expect from the places where they leave their children.
But even in the face of challenges, Rose Joy is happy for the little she has achieved. But for her, loving what you do and having a sense of self-satisfaction builds a base for success in business.
Economic purposes should be secondary. I think because it is a service industry and because you're working with young children, it ought to come from the heart first. First, it has to be personal fulfillment before you can think of getting a coin from it. That's how I view it. And also, schools generally do not just grow overnight. So if you're not doing something that you really enjoy doing, you will give up very easily, because the money, trust me, does not start coming in The little money that comes in, you put it back into the business. You pump it back into the business. Hardly will you get a time, I think in the first maybe 2-3 years, hardly will you get a time where you say you have profits coming in. You have whatever little comes in, put it back into the business.
Ross Joy's story is unique and full of potential. But what are some of her future plans?
I'm hoping it will not take 5 years. I want to see myself in my own space. Unfortunately, both centers where we've rented it out. So unfortunately, you're limited by, of course, your landlords. There are certain things that you cannot put up. And yet, in my mind, I have this really big dream of having an excellent center, especially for young children. You ground them in the right way, they grow up in the right way. So I hope it will not take 5 years. I see myself growing strong, growing big. We see Taji growing, having centers everywhere. Also because I don't feel it is right for children, young children, to be taken to schools that are across town. That's too much of a hassle for a young child. So we want to see centers in probably every corner of Nairobi.
Well, that's all the time we had for you on tonight's episode of Business Focus. Remember, you can write us with your questions, comments or suggestions on the email address that is bf@standardmedia.co.ke. Better yet, if you wish to have yourself featured on this particular program, do write us on the same email. And while the show might end, the conversation keeps going on online on the Facebook page and Twitter handles displayed on your screen right now. From the team that makes this possible, my name is Bonnie Tunya. Have yourself a great week and God bless.
Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.